Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the brief interruption. Eager knocked us so hard that we fell offline. But we're back. Couple of bans in. No Khepri for Team Solomid and no Hell for Team Eager.
Serket also taken out by Team Eager, so they recognize that the plan they developed for last time probably not going to work the second time around, and Eager just going to be taking that out themselves.
Intelligently going to ban out Giannis as well. Team Solomid says no to that. And Kevin, I think you're onto something. Team Eager picks first Athena one more time. I think they recognize that PolarBearMike also can play this character.
It's also just the style that they've really, I think, started to develop and excel at. It's something that we saw from Emilzy earlier on today, where it's simply just this support Athena that is just forcing beads usage out of the opponent at all stages of the game, and then immediately falls back and becomes kind of a defend my carry player after that.
You know, it's interesting. We always sit here and we talk about how, you know, your first pick can also be used as a ban. And I think this is one of the first opportunities for us to really see it in black and white. Poseidon is not a character that Snoopy has really played much of. Of course, he's relatively new to the mid-roll. But we see a lot of Giannis's. We see a lot of other choices. Poseidon not banned this time as opposed to last game. Instead, picked up by TSM.
And, you know, you say he hasn't played a lot. Snoopy has played, this is probably one of his most popular mages and ranked.
Of course.
Because Snoopy has been this like multiple role player for so long, we've actually seen him play it quite often. Now competitive play, yeah, we don't really see it. He's new to the role, so it is much different, but I know Snoopy is very proficient on this god. I don't think he'll struggle too much. Naja though, once again picked up by Eager, so not saying that it's just for the Serket counter, just a god that I think that no other team really knows how to play against properly.
Exactly, and we saw the dominance out of Naja, and again, I think a lot of what Naja brings to the table for Team Eager is the delay. The ultimate goes up, and there's a good couple of seconds for the team to respond and then have people waiting at the bottom. The sash also, not for nothing, that's a decent delay before the character is unstunned. So Team Eager going for that delay for the ultimate response on them. And Team Solomid, after the second round of bans come out, they will be choosing Anhur. So both Poseidon and Anhur taken off the board for Team Eager. No problem, Zap will take Neith.
And there's a little bit of global presence coming out, or there's this global dual lane that we do see quite often. Athena either paired with Neith or Apollo. This time it's going to be Zap, and he's going to have a very dominant lane phase god, right? Now, he is about clearing the wave, not necessarily I'm going to kill you. However, Eonic, on the other hand, with his Anhur, he is all about jousting you early on. He has pen in his kit, he has a slow, he has a stun, and he has an ultimate that has incredibly high base damage when you can use it in a 1v1 fight.
We'll see if Eonic can play this aggressive character. Shibalanki, of course, wants to sit and hang out and wait, show up at 30 minutes and then wave to the opponent. Anhur very much the opposite, and we'll see if Eonic can play this side of the coin well as well. As we get into it, we'll ride along with Snoopy. As he surfs on through on the Poseidon. He'll be taking that into the mid lane.
Did you say surfing?
Yeah, he's swag surfing.
That is Hebrew. Hebrew surfs.
No. He's feet surfing. Look at that.
He's like hydroplaning.
Snoopy, keep moving. There you go.
He's hydroplaning. He's not surfing. There's difference. It's like
you know
slipping
what?
and skidding on the water.
I actually think you're correct.
I know I am. I know I'm correct. I know what I'm talking about. I know my Fishman.
Your Fishman?
Yeah, like Daniel Fishman.
Yeah.
Designer.
Popular designer here at hi-rez Studios. He did not design Poseidon.
Zapman, or excuse me, Eonic, kind of sitting in the mid lane there, pretty aggressive by himself, but his team does have some wards on the left-hand side.
Wait a second.
Eonic's going mid on
Wait a second.
No.
I mean.
No.
Anhur's a character.
He's just chilling there. He's not going mid on her.
Okay, sure. For what it's worth, Anhur's a character that can very easily play mid. Impale clears the wave very easily. And seeing Snoopy take a mage into the dual lane would not surprise
not against
anyone.
a Raw. You cannot, not against a Raw.
Right.
Anhur, his old Impale, sure, but now, since Impale, it's actually nerfed where it's not full clearing the wave, where it's doing reduced damage. The more targets it hits, not going to happen.
Not against the Raw, but I don't think anybody would be surprised.
Snoopy taking a mage to the dual lane. No, that's entirely possible.
Exactly. But instead, we'll see the traditional mid laners will meet up, and it will be the mid laners meeting up in the center. It's the Poseidon versus the Ra, a very classic 2012 matchup.
Yeah, these gods have been out in Smite for a while, and while they fell out of popularity for a while, they have been on the rise in the recent weeks with a lot of the big meta changes coming through, and for now, it looks like PolarBearMike going to be aggressive on this lane, and that root just barely missing Eonic. Eonic wouldn't have died, but he would have taken a significant amount of poke if that would have landed.
Would have changed the dynamic of the lane for sure. And we've got a 2012 Hunter matchup as well. Neith versus Anhur. Very old characters being used
2013,
here in today's game.
not 12.
Yeah?
Neith wasn't out in 2012. She was 2013, I think.
2013. Either way, still a couple of years ago. It's 2015.
Man, Smite's been out for that long. Jump in by DaGarz, looking for DaretoCare.
2. And
actually, DaretoCare going to immune that, but he he probably should have just ran into tower. I think it would have been fine, but he got a little bit too worried or in his head trying to cancel out the Brutalize. If he would have canceled out the Brutalize immediately, it would have worked, but instead he took too many hits.
I mean, what happened last time was Team Solomid took an opportunity in the mid lane. DaretoCare took a lot of damage and wound up with a double kill. Maybe DaretoCare thought he had luck on his side both times around. Instead, First Blood goes to Team Solomid.
And this time, it's just complete opposite domination. You see over on this right-hand side. Now Divios is controlling this wave. Osiris versus Wukong, even with Bluestone, Osiris, it's a lot of the sustaining his kit and the poke he can put onto Wukong while still clearing the wave. He has a hit chain where his last auto attack will actually hit multiple minions. It's AoE, which are also proccing off the death toll, healing him up.
And that's a big part of what makes Osiris in this lane able to do what he does. This time, out of Zapman, the Spirit Arrow will hit Jigz. Provides the screen, takes a couple of the takes a couple of the basic attacks out of Neith to prevent his Hunter from getting too low. Good play.
And Divios is likely just going to control this lane for quite some time, especially if he starts continuing to grow this gold. It's a small gold lead for now, but if he can force Omega back, he will get a wave or two advantage and then be able to start building into either Mystical Mail or Runeforge, whatever defensive tanky warrior item that he wants to build to.
Couple more levels, though, and Sun Wukong should be able to clear the wave with just a single magical cudgel. So once that hits, Osiris will not be able to do as much. Snoopy taking up. The follow-up will be there from Lassiz, but here comes TSM, and DaGarz picks up the kill after the Kraken smacks him in the dome for a lot of damage. That's 2 kills on the Team Solomid, both going the way of the jungler.
I really respect the attempt from Eager there, trying to combo down Snoopy. Unfortunately, the damage just wasn't enough. They miscalculated it, and because of that, Snoopy was able to come off of that, hit a couple abilities, and set up guards to finish off DaretoCare. On the right-hand side, though, Omega, very aggressive there, and Divios a little bit too aggressive.
Divios accepting his fate. You saw him backing. That's the one thing with the Neith ult. When the World Weaver comes in and you're just sitting there, not much you can really do. Divios takes it and Omega tried to get the kill.
He could have ran over to the top side and be like, maybe someone will intercept this for me, please, team. Respond. Blink in onto Jigz there, a dash in, and PolarBearMike, like I said, I think this is one of his better gods, and I think we're going to see a lot of aggression come out of him. He just seems so much more comfortable on this god than anyone else.
That I will vehemently agree with you. I think that the comfort level on this Athena is just so up there for PolarBearMike. He played it a lot at LAN, he plays it a lot online, and it frequently is the first pick for Team Eager, which works out because first picking Athena, I think, in any meta is totally fine. I don't think there's any meta where a first pick Athena is a bad choice.
DaGarz getting aggressed on here. The question is,
Kraken's
are they going to combo for the damage this time? No, the snipe, it comes out a little bit too early. DaGarz was still falling down to the floor, and that's not going to connect.
Ooh.
And Lassiz and DaretoCare, who, we said had this awesome synergy so far in game 2, it's not coming true. And DaretoCare, nice Aegis. DaGarz going to chase him under tower. There's the Gep Shield to keep DaGarz alive. Divios, he's rotated over, and Team Solomid are the ones finding the early victories here.
That rotation is large. Usually we see Omega the first one to rotate, or at the very least follow up. Instead, Omega makes the choice, understand, and I like this. Omega, there was no way he was making it to the lane in time to actually make an impact, so he does what he can and strips the blue buff away. What would have happened if Omega went to the mid lane? He would have gone, watched his team get killed, and then go back to lane. Nothing would have happened. In fact, it might have been a negative. He might have lost farm. So intelligently, just takes the blue buff away.
And he's going to back and actually not even elect to build into teleport yet. Probably doesn't have the gold for it, but just wanting to get a little bit of physical defense online to continue to control this lane against Divios, who have already invested 600 gold into actives. And this is kind of like a really awkward balance in the soul lane about getting teleport online early versus being forced back early, because if you don't if for whatever reason you don't have to build into actives because you're controlling the lane and you can actually back at a time and rotate back in before the other solo laner can push it into your tower, you can actually just get so far ahead in build because otherwise, I mean, solo lanes, they love to invest 900 gold into actives, into that teleport to tower. And if your build is 900 gold ahead, and especially if you're going for Mystical Mail, there's nothing the other solo laner could do for it when you get that online.
So Wukong also could make it up the lane faster than a couple of other solo laners. Obviously not as fast as the teleport, but birding out of the base gives you a huge head start as far as the foot race is concerned back to lane.
And Omega already a a level and a half advantage on this so far, controlling it. Left-hand side, though, a big grouping from Team Solomid. We can see them kind of, jockeying around the Gold Fury, but looks like they're just going to back off. Weren't able to do that one for free.
And this is the response, in my opinion. I think this is a direct response to what happened in game number 1. DaretoCare routinely found people all by themselves, and then when they came down, they got shot by a Lassiz. This time around, Team Solomid's working on the buddy system. Nobody has been alone at all.
Especially Jigz, who was the one who suffered from most of the ganks there. You'd see him just rotate, either get aggressed on from his right-hand side. Speaking of right-hand side, Divios, is someone going to intercept this for him? No, no one's able to do it, and he's going to fall for the second time this game.
Neith
and this is the
for a lot.
Honestly, like looking back to Season 1, this is the complete opposite. Season 1, it was all Divios just repeatedly beating Omega in lane. But for Season 2, especially since he's made the swap over to from Cloud9 to Eager, I think Omega stepped his game up significantly.
Without a doubt. Omega's always been talented, but maybe he feels more. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if it's just straight playing better, but there's a different flair to the play coming out of Omega. Big fight here over,
and Whirlpool. Kraken comes through, hitting 2. Omega, though, able to take out 1 in response. It's a double kill for both players. Snoopy getting chased under tower. Omega not able to find that, though, but it was actually only 1 kill Snoopy was able to take out. Omega grabbing the double.
I love the response from Team Solomid here. Sure, they do wind up just dying. 2 members of them wind up dying, but Team Solomid proving why they're such a veteran, respected, top-tier team. The gameplay coming into game number 2 is completely different. At this point in the game, Eager had a multi-thousand gold lead. Team Solomid, again, using the buddy system, for lack of a better term. Nobody is allowed to walk into the jungle alone because of the threat of the Naja. They understand that. They looked at it. They F6'd, they fixed it, and they come into the next game with a game plan to prevent exactly what happened last time from happening this time. So, Team Solomid, you got to respect their ability to adjust.
TSM also had a really nice first blood, and again, a second kill on a DaretoCare, and that was a lot from this DaretoCare Lassiz combo who I don't want to say, they just thought they would do more damage.
Exactly.
And DaretoCare actually fell multiple times because of that, because they take to this guy thinking they're going to hit the combo.
Hey, I've seen this episode before, Kevin.
And Divios going to die for a 3rd time. I mean, Omega is just destroying him right now.
The amount of times we've seen Divios get low, Omega ult under tower, while a World Weaver is on Osiris. How many deaths do we have? 3? We've seen that 3 times.
I mean, at some point, Divios has to look at this and be like, all right, what can I do differently? Because he's 3 levels behind. Omega's only getting further ahead. He's got the tower down. And now Eonic forced to beats, but still, it's one thing when you force someone's speeds, because that's important. But when you force someone's speeds and still hit them to 15% life, what are they going to do?
A lot of damage coming out in this dual lane. One of the things that I think Divios hasn't adjusted to is the inclusion of Neith into this lineup. Every single time, well, that last one Omega smacked him in the face, but the other 2 deaths, he would have gotten out if there wasn't a World Weaver.
Oh, of course. It would have been close, but he probably would have managed unless Omega elected to dive super deep. Team Solomid, nowhere even close.
When there's a Neith or a Nuwa on the enemy team, you are pretty much permanently at 95 or 90% HP because you always have that threat in your mind. Divios is playing as if the World Weaver isn't on the map, and that's hurt him, like I said, 2 times. The 3rd time, Omega was able to get the kill by himself, but the World Weaver has to impact your play. He's
actually trying to do DaGarz's speed buff while DaGarz is fighting in the mid, but Omega is actually going to be fighting. Can we actually take a look to see if Omega did steal that away? Yeah, Omega just stole away the speed.
Too?
Yeah, So Divios is taking DaGarz's farm because he's getting so bullied in his lane, and he's gonna have DaGarz go split push elsewhere. But then he loses it to Omega. Kraken comes out, but the Athena ult might be enough. No, it's not. But PolarBearMike in a bad spot.
Early ages out of DaretoCare spelled toast for him. PolarBearMike able to take out 1. pretty much all by himself. There's the World Weaver to clean up DaGarz. A lot of damage from that shield wall being done by the Athena. And Omega's made the rotation. He's not going to get a kill, but he will chase Eonic underneath the tower. And so will his decoy.
Jigz so low, he's going to fall here. Zapman likely to find that kill. And actually a snipe over the wall.
Wow.
Omega.
I did not expect that secondary aggression coming out from Eager. It looked like they had gotten what they wanted. They'll let Eonic walk away and take the tower. Instead, Zapman goes right for it, deals some damage, takes the tower. So 11 minutes in, a Gold Fury and a couple of towers go down. Team Eager, after what was a much closer contest for the beginning of the game, has separated themselves from TSM by about 4,000 gold.
And the big thing for me is the execution of a game plan in both Game 1 and Game 2. Game 1, it was all about the Lassiz and DaretoCare combo. And while that seemed to also be a little bit of the plan for Game 2, early on, they weren't able to execute it properly or at least underestimated how much damage that they could actually output.
Right.
It fell or it wasn't working. TSM took advantage of that, found a couple picks. However, then they had this secondary combo where Omega, or for whatever reason, Omega got ahead of Divios and has been bullying him ever since. And then Zapman has saved his World Weaver for Divios every single time. You can already see that is it was a 5, now 4 level difference at 11 minutes. Now 12.
Wow, you weren't kidding.
Yeah, that's insane.
Divios, the solo laner, is the same level as his opponent's jungler, which usually you see the solo laners vastly ahead, and that's the story for Omega.
He doesn't have one of the most efficient, cost-efficient, super cheap defensive items.
Yeah.
He's looking for the Runeforge. It just got completed. Omega has finished something over 500 gold more expensive in Mystical Mail and already has rank 2 of, not Breastplate of Valor, but Mail of Renewal online.
And this is one of the more rough games we've seen Divios play. Usually, Divios able to not just command control of his lane, but
he's had a really bad
command
set.
Control of the game. And right now, beads are going to be strong, and the jump over DaretoCare. The ultimate out of the jungler will miss, but here comes the rest of Team Solomid. That was a mistake for Team Eager, and because of that, they'll trade their support. And if Zapman and DaretoCare don't get out of here, they might trade their lives as well, but
with Eonic forced out, they're not going to be able to keep up the aggression. Lassiz there was waiting. To snipe. He's like, please Eonic, don't back.
That's why I said but and left it there. Because if Team Solomid came and chased, I think we would have very easily seen a turnaround. A quick ring bounce for a slow, a stun and a root in the wrong spot, right into a Lassiz ultimate. That's a 1-kill swing at the very least. Because of the spacing, Team Eager able to take the tier 1 in the left lane.
Omega's also pressured up this tier 2 and has rotated around. You see Divios, he's only got rank 1 teleport. It is coming up, but a jump in, and it looks like TSM want to fight this. Kraken comes through, but it doesn't matter. Lassiz and DaretoCare both finding kills.
DaretoCare picks one up as well. Here comes the rest of the insurgent from Team Eager. Jigz going to shield himself, and that's going to leave his teammates exposed. Taunt into Omega. 2 kills for the King of the Monkeys. Only a single player for Team Solomid is alive. Scratch that! Deicide going the way of Team Eager. 15-6, read the kills. And Team Eager, they're in second place, and they're playing like it.
DaGarz spawning in just 3 seconds. I think Eager, they're going to go, and they're going to take this Phoenix nearly uncontested. They're just, the spawn times may not be there, especially with Lassiz able to heal up his team. And yeah, that's going to be an uncontested Phoenix coming out for Eager.
A very early Phoenix. Normally Phoenixes come along much later in the game, but 14 minutes in, Eager able to, well, it's not down yet. Instead, they're going to fight. The Firebird does eventually fall. Fenrir finds himself a target in the backline, but Zapman, his presence is enough to send DaGarz packing. He uses beads just in case. Doesn't know what's coming. Turns right around. So Eager picks up the Firebird, the Phoenix on the left-hand side of the
Snoopy
map.
should have fallen there. That was a really clutch Aegis from him, as well as a really nice shield coming out from Jigz. But if Snoopy had died there, it's very unlikely that I think Lassiz would have fallen, because the rest of the team would have been able to protect him. Instead, Omega was trying to chase. Same with Lassiz trying to spin the snipe on him. But, you know, still, a nice defense coming out from Eager. They're able to find 1 kill, but they do lose their Phoenix. They are so far behind right now. Eager taking every advantage, just playing this game perfectly.
A lot of what Team Solomid had to respond with Team Eager, sort of, it's the opposite of what we saw in game number 1. Game number 1, Team Eager ran the early game, stumbled a bit in mid, and then continued and wound up winning. This time around, Team Solomid, they had all the answers early. They didn't let the Ne get ahead, because Ne is a character that snowball is not really where our game is right now, but Naja has a tendency to do that. You give him a couple of kills, all of a sudden you're dying in an ultimate. Team Solomid stopped that, but they didn't stop everything else, and that's allowed Team Eager to do what they've done. A Phoenix, 2 Gold Furies, put that another one. This will be the 3rd Gold Fury, if I'm not mistaken.
That'll be the second one.
That'll be the 2nd Gold Fury for the squad here in game number 2, and they're just keep pressing their advantage. 1, 2, 3, says the Naja. Now there's a World Weaver. Now there's a taunt. Everyone from Team Eager is here on the left-hand side, but Team Solomid making a comeback. DaGarz starts the aggression, but dies to Lassiz right in the heel. And Team Eager going to fall back after that one. They'll take the jungler, and they'll walk to mid.
Yeah, there's no Phoenix over here on the left-hand side. Take the tier 2 tower on the mid, and then likely rotate over to take and pressure the jungle or the tier 2 tower on right-hand side.
Zapman, again, not on the Anhur, so we don't see the flashy frontline plays that we saw, or the flashy man-in-front plays that we saw last time around. But he's 4-1-8. A lot of those came from World Weavers, that's fair. But the level difference, 3 levels above his opponent.
6 levels in the soul lane.
Level 20 on Omega already.
At 16 minutes, Omega is playing just
I mean, he's 6-0-8,
such an efficient
Kevin.
game.
He's 6-0-8.
I mean, he has just been abusing Divios. And like I said, this has been a matchup that for the longest time was all Divios in this 1v1. He was winning, but Omega so far, especially in the second half of Season 2, has really started to take control of it. And Divios, I just feel like he's had probably one of the worst, if not the worst, set I've ever seen from him today.
It's
just
rough.
been bad. Game 1 was terrible. Game 2 was even worse, and that is just very uncharacteristic of Divios.
Yeah, and I think that's the point that I really want to drive home, is that this is a rough game, and everybody has rough games, but it seems like Divios doesn't have rough games, and that's why it's such a focal point. Because
Divios at least does okay, right?
Right. And I mean, he at one point he was the player in Smite, and that might not be the case, but he's still upper echelon. And it seems so strange for us to see him stumbling so much. This time around, Eager with the upper hand. They're going to start the Fire Giant here. Nobody by Team Solomid anywhere close. And with the Fire Giant already at 25% HP, I don't think Team Solomid able to respond here. The Fire Giant going the way of Team Eager in the 18th minute.
Divios just trying to get as much farm as he can over here in this left-hand side, pushing it up. There are a ton of fire waves. Meanwhile, Omega almost soloing out this tier 2, but it'll be completed here in just a second as PolarBearMike and the rest of the team rotate in. And we have big items completed coming out from Omega right now. He's finished the Rune Forge, he's finished the Mystical Mail, and he's finished the Mail of Renewal. No physical is going to be able to touch him. And if Snoopy is wasting a Kraken on a very tanky Sun Wukong from at least the health standpoint, Team Solomid are going to lose the fight.
And you know what's interesting? He's level 20 in 16 minutes. Huge lead. Still doesn't go offensive items. Stays the course. Stays his game plan. Thick, tanky bruiser. Interesting. Wrong approach or perfectly fine, Kevin?
I think it's fine.
I think it's perfectly fine.
It's working out. DaretoCare. Maybe a little bit caught out here, but Jigz going to miss the Cataclysm, and now Jigz is going to pay for it. Already low, forced to shield himself. Huge Aegises, and there's no Kraken. How is Team Solomid going to win this fight?
DaGarz on the back line. Heal Aegis as well, but it's not going to be as helpful for him as it was for the 2 members of Team Eager. Omega picks up 2. Zapman picks up 1. Team Solomid's Titan is under attack. The only people left to defend it are Divios and Eonic. I just don't think they're enough. The Titan is being chipped down right now by Team Eager. They're going in. Ultimate coming out from Eonic. Titan down to 50% HP. Team Eager keep going on. And they're going to bring it home, folks. 2-0 going the way of Team Eager over Team Solomid. If you had questions, they were just answered. The number 2 team in North America is definitely Team Eager.
I mean, game 1, bad start. Frustration, F6. That's fine. Game 2, much better start. Able to find a couple kills on the DaretoCare. Team Solomid took the early lead, and then they lose in 20 minutes. They wasn't an F6. They had an early lead for the first 6, 7, 8 minutes, and then the next 12 minutes was just destruction.
I mean, we said it on Esports Weekly this week, or at least I did, and you pretended to agree, or at least listen. I said Team Eager. A lot of what they've done, like you said, we've seen them win, we've seen them lose, we've seen them win, we've seen them lose. We saw dominance come out in Cognitive Invitational. I wanted to see proof that it wasn't a fluke and that they could do it online. This is proof in the pudding This is Team Eager ready to play. They are solidified in the number 2 spot. Game number 1, they had first blood, was the opposite this time around. In game number 2, we saw Team Solomid wind up with the first kill of the match.
Yeah, this was just DaretoCare making the wrong choice. So he gets brutalized, right, and he takes 2 before he tries to interrupt it. I think he was just actually trying to stun DaGarz under tower,
right,
is what I'm assuming is what was going to happen. But Snoopy was able to hit a very nice whirlpool, meaning he was just stuck there.
And in the least surprising news of the afternoon, Omega is going to be your player of the game. He had about 10,000 kills and 20,000 assists and 0 deaths.
And, you know, to be fair, right, we saw him get a lot of kills on a Divios with World Weaver, but I mean, I don't even think he needed those World Weavers. He was soloing Divios, and it was just kind of the World Weaver there was a just in case.
And as we said, a lot of what Team Eager has really succeeded in is the team unification. You mentioned how Zapman able to depend on his team a little bit more, and I think that's really what we've been seeing. The LAN experience to help PolarBearMike and the squad. Don't forget, Omega just joining this team in the fall split. The LAN experience bringing the team together. A lot of the team lives together, but not everybody. And being able to sit and hang out and mesh, that really, really helps. Pair that with half a split of SPL play, I think we're finally seeing this, what happens when this team meshes and grows together.
This team, they just look so clean, and I think they all trust each other now. And DaretoCare has been playing probably some of the best mind I've ever. Same with Lassiz, right? I think individually these players have just improved this split significantly.
I mean, without a doubt, not just individually, but also as a team. And with that in mind, that brings the captain to my mind. Hello, Lassiz. How are you doing, bud?
How you doing, F-Dot? Hey, Adonis.
What's going on, man?
Oh, man, I hate when they say hi to Adonis. Anyway, congratulations. You guys came out on top, and, I mean, there was just no question about it. And I want to ask you about the mental state. You guys look like a completely different team this week and Cognitive Invitational. What happened?
You know, the LAN just gave us a lot of confidence, honestly, with the exception of our games against COG, who, you know, honestly, in our opinion, should have won it. But because we did make it a little bit later into the LAN, it gave us a lot more confidence back. And we finally feel like we got through to Mike on trying to get him back to or on the level that we needed him. And of course, Omega world champion, solo laner, Omega number 1, just doing well. And you know, I feel like we're just getting back on par and hopefully catching up to these teams again.
Awesome.
Talk to me a little bit about that Omega. You mentioned him being the world champion, and his play style was similar to Anatoly's in a little bit, but what was it like having him connect with the team? Did it take these 5-6 weeks, or did he immediately just wind up being that soul laner that you needed for the squad?
It was a pretty immediate connection with the team. You know, me, Omega, and Zap go pretty far back, as well as DaretoCare. I'm sorry, they actually played on the same team, but you know, he came to the team wanting to win, of course, but at the same time, I said he just wanted to have fun, and you know, he said it too. And we wanted to win as a team. We could take criticism as a team, as it is a business, and you know, we just want to move forward and treat a job such as a job.
Awesome. I do want to talk about PolarBearMike. You said you finally got him up to the level that you guys want him. Are you guys picking this Athena for him, or do you feel confident really in his entire god pool instead of just what I feel was kind of just target or prioritizing his best god?
Honestly, he was always timid with his picks, and like he was fine mechanically, but he always lacked the confidence whether to go in or call an engagement or just do anything without like permission. But you know, at a high level play, you can't hesitate. The second you hesitate, you throw. And we finally feel like we got Mike to the point where he's so confident that he can make his own decisions now and play any god, you know, just where every other support can.
Awesome.
Yeah, that you know, as we said, Mike, a little bit newer in comparison to the veterans of the rest of the squad. Now, you guys have made it into second place, and a lot of people had questions, myself included, but those questions have been answered. So looking forward, do you guys have any specific plans on maintaining your second place? Are you shooting for first anytime soon, or?
You know, first would be the dream, of course, but you know, our boys AFK, we expect to only go even with them, and as long as we can place at least top 3, we're very excited. As long as we don't have to go against AFK in the first round.
Awesome.
As a regional.
Any shout outs you got before we let you go?
Absolutely, I got a shout out to the mod squad, my parents, of course, my lady here, of course, my team, and number 1 solo laner champion world, Omega.
Oh yeah.
To our troops.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. That, of course, is the mid laner, Lassiz, mid laner for Team Eager, as him and his team just took out Team Solomid 2-0. Fantastic play coming out from those guys.
Just wow! Like how much Eager has improved. And Team Solomid, they're clearly going through some growing pains with a lot of switch ups. But the two people that stayed static were DaGarz and Divios. And Divios just got handled.
I think the story here is all about Team Eager for me. I think that Team Solomid obviously had some hiccups along the way, but Eager really the ones to drive it home. We're going to see if the next teams can drive it home as well. Stay tuned. We've got another North American matchup for you coming at you live.
No matter what we say, it's true. It's true. We don't believe us. No matter what we say, it's true. This is our world. We don't believe us. No matter what we say, it's true. It's true. We don't believe us. No matter what we say, it's true. This is our world.
Will we ever get off this island?